The funniest thing about modern fantasy discourse is watching grown-ass men cosplay as feminist bodyguards just to defend porn with dragons. Get your attention? Ladies, the next time some guy in a stained wife beater screaming that you're disenfranchised, that you aren't included, or rushes to defend fantasy novels, that story has more explicit scenes than plot, just smile and remember he's not your knight. He's the guy that thinks defending industrial grade smut is going to get him laid. And he's using your reader's habits as a dating resume. He is his own psyop against you. I'm a traditional fantasy reader. I grew up on Lord of the Rings, Chronicles of Narnia, Andy McCaffrey's Dragonriders of Pern, the Night Runner series, worlds where stakes, wonder, and actual stories included characters who aren't just walking kinks in a thin coat of magic paint. These books still hold to this day, and I'll die on that hill. What doesn't hold up is watching a parade of performative males turn the genre into a personal simping arena while pretending they're actually fighting for you. Come on, you know the type. The wife beater aesthetic, whether it's literal or just the energy of it, usually either obese or skinny as a rail, always looking beat as fuck, all living online like the comments section is their last hope of any form of human contact. They never cracked open half the books they're defending. They saw the spicy TikToks, maybe skimmed a free sample, and now they are in the replies shouting, "How dare you criticize women's pleasure?" Every time someone points out that a lot of current dark romance and smut-heavy fantasy is just porn with dragons or fake court duct taped on, they rush to call you sexist. Because they know the only way they can further their bloodline is if one of those women feel bad enough for them that they would date the nice guy. Here's the part they don't notice. Women already dominate fantasy publishing. Recent data on forthcoming titles show women writing around 72% of the fantasy books coming out. Not 20%, not struggling for scraps, over 70%. This is a super majority. Each of these receiving budgets in the upwards of $60,000 to $100,000 for marketing. So the whole women authors are disenfranchised and you need the nice guys to protect them narrative falls apart the second you look at the actual numbers. So the market is already heavily women authored and women read. These dorks aren't fixing oppression. They're inserting themselves in a conversation that was never about them so they can signal, "I'm one of the good ones. Please notice me." The next claim is that the porn industry never touched romance and fantasy. Cute. The escalation of explicit content, the packaging of sex as pure consumption, the endless dork branding that often means higher body counts and thinner plots didn't appear out of thin air. Commercial porn culture normalized a certain style of escalation in product, and big chunks of romance and then fantasy absorbed it. Some of that content is fine. I'm no Puritan by any means, and if that's what someone's into, well, people can read whatever they want. But when the loudest male voices in the room treat any level of criticism of quality or craft as an attack on women, they're not defending literature or agency. This is their simp strategy. If you don't want to hear it from me and you'd rather hear it from a woman, The Second Story, one of the largest book-based channels on YouTube, has a video. The absolute degeneracy of modern writing, describing the in-depth science and psyop on how the porn weaseled its way into fantasy and uses it as a shield term, such as right women's literature, to hide its dangerous and manipulative content. Because porn is porn and it hurts your brain whether you read it or you watch it. Ladies, these guys are not on your side. They are your secret enemy. If you actually care about the books being good instead of being delivery systems for spice, do not give them the time of day. These smooth brain are single terminally ill and treating the fantasy section like a dating filter. Look how hard I defend your right to read about being railed by the morally gray 7-foot werewolf warlord billionaire. It's not safe. Get it? It's transparent and it's exhausting. Let's look at the books themselves. so I can give specific examples what I'm talking about. Take Fourth Ring by Rebecca Yarros. Critics and even plenty of readers have pointed out the fact that the gaping plot holes, like the military academy that makes zero tactical sense, why would you deliberately slaughter most of your own recruits during a war? And how the dragons and world building often seem to be set aside so that Violet and Xaden can get together, even though they've been together since like chapter 2. Or Sarah J. Maas's A Court of Thorns and Roses series, especially in the later books. A lot of the conversations around them centers on how the explicit scenes increasingly shoulder the weight, while the larger plot takes a back seat. Same with Jennifer L. Ash, frequently called out for leaning so hard into the spice and romance that the border story and world feels totally secondary. Who cares about geopolitics in the world when I could count the veins? These massive titles are plot optional, smut mandatory critiques keeps coming up for a reason. The performative males will still defend them to the death without engaging in any of the criticism. Now let me talk specifically to the male performative males. Shut the fuck up. Stop using the genre I love and that a lot of women love for the stories, not just the smut, as a method to try to get women. It's pathetic. You haven't read the books. You don't care about the craft. You're cosplaying allyship for attention. Go read Lord of the Rings. Go read Pern. Go read Narnia. Go read something that isn't 80% explicit scenes. Or just admit you are a degenerate that likes the smut and stop wrapping it in progressive language like it's moral courage. I can see the comments already. Wanting fantasy to still be fantasy is now gatekeeping. It's wanting the genre to be a baseline of quality instead of letting it get reduced to product. The women who are writing the majority of it don't need a bunch of beat-looking dorks and wife beaters to protect them from people who simply prefer a story. You're the distraction. Now, if you excuse me, I'm gonna go read a book where the magic system isn't just the love interest dick is enchanted. Don't forget to like, sub,